Hi everyone, I'm Kerry Cassidy from Project Camelot, and I am here tonight with MT Keshe. And it's been a while since we've had him on the show, so this is going to be delightful to have him here with us tonight. And it's going to be fascinating to talk to him and find out about this new announcement that he has. So I am going to actually sorry about the echo there, we're getting rid of that. So we're going to bring him right on the show here for you. And he will not have video, however, so please bear with us. It's just the way it goes in his situation. So we will be able to see his face nonetheless. And Keshe, why don't you say hello to everyone?
Good evening. If you're in the United Kingdom, good morning, and anywhere else, it could be good day to you. Thank you very much for this opportunity to be able to disclose more information. It's a long time since we've spoken, and thank you for your time and your audience.
Okay, lovely. Well, it's exciting to have you here, Keshe. And I am fascinated by this new announcement. Obviously, it's very exciting. So can you tell us, first of all, introduce yourself briefly. And I'm sorry, I have just arrived in London and I have nothing arranged here. So I don't actually have your bio in front of me. I'm very sorry about that. I can say that MT Keshe is an Iranian physicist. And he also is what's called a nuclear physicist as well as a plasma physicist. And Keshe, perhaps you can elaborate on that, and then let's get into what is going on with Ghana.
As we have given you many interviews for your new listeners, I was born in Iran. I'm an Iranian nuclear physicist, even though I lived in Europe for over 40 years. I still kept my Iranian nationality, and in so many ways nowadays, it doesn't matter where we live, we are not bounded by countries or borders in a way. I have established what is known as a Keshe Foundation, non-profit organization, scientific, and it's taken sometimes nearly 17 years or nearly 12 years in public life was the development of the new technology, which has taken over 40 years to develop. And now we are going step by step as the technology has shown its use and development, and its new approach to the world of science has been developed. We see more and more scientists are accepting the technology because what we have developed, in a way, we were, as we call metallurgists, we could understand metals and how to make alloys. We became atomic because we went further than molecular. In past 56 years, became nuclear, which was my time in 70s and 80s and 60s. And now we have gone into the essence of creation, which is the internal structure of the nucleus, neutron, proton, and the rest. And now we see a very safe environment to work. Now we have the capability to use the fields which makes the plasma, or what we call electron or proton or neutron, and then it makes the atom and the rest of it. So we've gone to the essence of the creation. This is a natural development in the world of science of man. This is how we developed. But as we say, life starts with physics. When you add two atoms, it becomes chemistry, and when you add 3 or 4 atoms together as a molecules, they become biology and life in so many ways, if the condition is right. Now that we have understood the fundamental structure of interaction of the fields, now we can manipulate and use the fields, create conditions which replicates most of the work of the universe. So in a way, this is the next step in the knowledge of man. Anyone who understands it becomes excited by the new discovery, by the new understanding, and they start joining the whole new knowledge. We have from young children to housewives to scientists to doctors to professors to engineers, governments, all getting involved in it because it's simplicity. It has to be known when you create such a technology which goes to the fundamental base of the knowledge, you can touch everything, be it chemistry, be it biology, be it medicine, be it food, be it space, be it any kind of things which we have taught about in the past thousands of years that we have applied it. Now that we've gone to the base of it, we can create it. It gives man a new opportunity to expand the knowledge. And as usual, when you create such a fundamental bedrock of knowledge, it disturbs a lot of people on the top who have been used to the other methods of use. Now they have to change, and some people don't see the change to be necessary because they had a comfortable life. But with this technology, the way we teach it, the way we openly inform and in a way spread the knowledge, any man can use it for his own benefit.
Okay. Keshe, can I stop you?
Yes.
Can I stop you right there and just ask you a couple questions to sort of focus everyone on what's going on? So what your announcement is saying is that you're going to be working with the people of Ghana, and that you're going to bring some various health programs, it appears, as part of the spaceport. But what you're going to be building is a space platform. Spaceport is how I'm calling it. Perhaps you have your own wording for it. You're going to need technology to also build a craft, are you not, to take off from this port? Is that correct?
This is what I was just explaining, that with this new technology, we understand the way structures in the universe are created. We don't have jet propulsion, we don't have rockets, we don't see, as usually very first pages of Keshe Foundation years ago, we don't see any wings on Earth, we don't see any jet engines on the Earth, but Earth rotates at 1,600 degrees. It keeps 600 kilometers an hour. It keeps distance from the other planetary and a star and everything else. So we don't need a structure. What scaffolding, what concrete blocks holds the planet Earth together? The magnetic field, gravitational field, which is created inside it, and what every element, be it the fish, be it the man, be it the stone, that create the field inside them, dictates the position and the way, the lifestyle they have. Now we understand that essence. We don't see any motors and any physical structures building the Saturn or the sun. Field structure, field interaction creates the structure. And now we have learned that. We don't need huge, what you call aircraft hangars to build. The small reactors creating the fields, you can build the same environment as Earth anywhere in the universe now. It just, we need to expand the knowledge. We have to extend the knowledge. This is what I said, this is a fundamental change. And the port we've seen today, which we have announced last week to start building it, it's not just out of nowhere. We've been in Ghana for nearly 6 months. We have established a factory. We are producing materials which are getting licensed. We have produced waters which can help with different aspects of the application. We have produced units which are the energy units which are getting used across Accra by so many people over a year and a half now. And we have learned we don't need in a way, massive hospitals that you can hold. The new medical equipment and systems which we are developing and we have developed is sold out of Austria Keshe Foundation. The application of it has been shown by reversal of a cancer in what we call the cancer in what we call it in exchange for peace. We've shown how a breast cancer can be reversed using the technology by doctors. So we don't need that image we had, space clothes and these things are finished. That was the step. We went to, if you see, NASA has stopped launching shuttles, because when we went to NASA some 10 years ago and we showed them the principle, they understood. As one of the NASA directors says, the game of the space technology has changed. He has discovered this gravity. He knows how to fly. We don't need to burn fuel. And so we have changed. This is the first Spaceship Center, which is a research center, factory, laboratories, offices, and clinics, which has been requested by government from us officials to build. We have opened up. And since we've done, we have seen a number of countries have requested. Every country has an airport. From now on, every country will have a spaceship land, a space pad, because it's our right, it's our technology. It belongs to everybody. And we have received requests from number of presidents and governments in past few days to go to their nation. They want the technology because they've seen it. A technology like this has no boundary. It belongs to all of us. It's just that we have to learn the new technology, and learning is so easy. So when we call a spaceship pad, you can fly from top of the roof of your house, because now you don't burn fuel. We have developed a system which creates gravity and magnetic field, which means rejection and attraction, repulsion and coming together. And in that little system, we can create the conditions. So Earth has a gravitational magnetic field. Our system has a gravitational magnetic field. Our system is smaller in a strength, in a way, because it's a small craft. Earth has a bigger one. If we adjust the field inside our reactors, we get repelled, we go up. If we adjust in a way to get attracted, we come down. You don't burn any fuel. The cycle of burning of the fuel is over. Now the whole of space technology in all the countries are aware of it. But what has given this technology in the past, especially 4 and 6 weeks, has changed the political arena across the planet. If you want to talk about it, I'll speak later on about it. But major governments have realized nuclear technology is over. Especially since we announced the Spaceship program building in Ghana, and it's not something that's going to be built in time to come. Tomorrow we have an official meeting. When the documents are completed tomorrow, the day after, the landscaping building of the foundation starts within 3 days. We are ready. It's not that we have to start. We're going to find. Everything has been organized. The whole structure to build the factory has been done. We have been gifted by a very wealthy man to build the whole station. He has a lab bigger in a huge way himself. He's been one of the what I call followers of the Keshe Foundation for years. He's built his own structure. He knows how it works. And when we announced it, he said, "This is my gift to the foundation. I built the whole thing from A to Z, and I pay for it." And we accepted the gift, and the work has started. We have done the preliminary planning. Everything has gone through the next step now, which is next few days. The land will be turned over, the foundation to be laid out, and the whole structure will be up within 3 to 6 months, according to the construction company. And then we invite the whole nation to come in. And as I said, we received requests from other world presidents and leaders to open in their country, and we have responded positively. Okay. Ghana is the first airport as we had it, the first airport as it was in the United States. Ghana is the first place where from this position we take into space, the same as what we do with the aircrafts, but we don't burn fuel anymore. Now it takes, let's say you are jet lagged coming from California, 12, 18 hours flight. In a coming time, very soon, you do the same distance in less than 10, 15 minutes. This is not a dream anymore, because the craft has its own gravity. You don't need a spacesuit. You don't need to have anything else which you are not used to. And you travel within the zone. You flew from California to England. Any birds hit you, any weather condition, anything could endanger. You have no protection. You're literally flying on the seat of the pants of the pilot. With this technology, you have a shielding. The atmosphere, like Earth, is around you. You're protected. This is not the theory anymore. Iranian government has shown the power of it. Russian government has used it. Chinese have developed different aspects of it. And now, with the permission of the Chinese and the Iranian government, we are openly opening the whole structure to humanity. It belongs to everybody.
Okay.
Why we are in Ghana?
Keshe,
Sorry.
can I ask you, first of all, you know, you're saying quite a number of things that I would want to ask you about to elaborate, but I'd like to ask you, first of all, have you got any drawings of the type of a craft that you will build that will contain the people? In other words, you know, a drawing of the craft at all?
We structure the fields, and from the fields is created the craft. In the womb of your mother, when you are conceived, nobody goes through a planning. We understand the structure, how fields come together, and in coming and dividing and structuring becomes bone, becomes heart, becomes skin. Now we have that knowledge. We don't need to build crafts. We decide where the fields sit, and by positioning of the fields, we structure. We learn how the bone is created as a solid matter. We create the same solid matter where we want. You want the soft matter, you do the same. Your tissue is soft matter. Now we have gone into the essence of creation. And all we do, we replicate it. You want a small bone the size of the tip of your finger, the last bone, or you want a femur. Now we understand it. We don't need to have huge aircraft hangars. We can build a craft, 100 people, 1,000 people. It's just you allow the fields, the way the body of the man was created, is created every day. Now we have learned the knowledge. And many doctors in the Keshe Foundation, many scientists are now testing in different aspects. So the way you see it when you go to Boeing or you go to NASA, huge shuttles, it's finished. It doesn't cost billions. That's why we're in Ghana. With a few tens of thousands, we can build the whole structure. And now, in the past 3 days, we have brought in from 4 nations, and very soon there'll be another 3 joining us to make 7, because I only teach 7 maximum at a time to become the scientist of the space. We train 7 people to become more or less the captains of these new crafts which are coming up to be tested. It cannot be electronics anymore, it's too slow. The present computers are obsolete. You have to understand the way, how your body works continuously. We understand the knowledge now. We control the system through the lines of thoughts, rapid, as we desire. It's too slow. Computers don't exist in our dimension. We do the same with a lot of other things. And this is the new technology. We have spanned it over some 20 years. And in so many ways, as we understand more, the world population are the followers and the developers. Every man in every continent, every country has the capability to do it. The only people who objected are those who never made it. And the foundation has only about 5 or 6 people which object to it because of their principles. We allow it to do. Because without them, everybody say yes, we don't see the problems. But the whole structure is, if what we call you're the last man standing, you should be able to save your life. You should be able to find a solution for hunger. You should be able to find a solution for food. Now we don't need to grow, because if you look at it in the structure of us, what is food? We chew matter, could be bread, could be a piece of meat. It goes in our stomach. It just gets dissolved in acid to become energy to cross the wall of your intestine to be absorbed by your body. Now that we come to the essence of creation, do we need to consume another animal? Do we need to hurt another being for us to absorb the energy which is in the universe? Now we learn it. We can absorb the energy.
Okay. Okay, I appreciate your description, but I still don't understand. You say it's going to take the shape of surrounding the human body, and
no, it takes the shape of a craft which you like to do, or you can build one person, or the shape of it is literally a dish. Okay. The initial stage is a dish shape. It's very much like a UFO because we understand the shape of it. Why? You have 3 reactor base, which allows you to dictate direction of the motion. You have 1 top reactor. Those who've been around the Keshe Foundation have seen this for years. We have tested these for nearly 4 or 5 years in public. We have tested with the Iranian government over 8 years ago. So it's not imaginary. The number of people on the Keshe Foundation website.
Hello? Hello? Okay. Hi, I don't know what's going on. We're going to try to find MT Keshe and see if we can dial him back. Please stand by. One moment here. Okay, I'm actually trying to get Keshe to give me a phone number where I can try to call him using my Skype phone. And I will continue to try to dial him as well. I'm not sure. It looks like he is still online, but I don't know what's happened. Hello?
Hello?
Hi, Keshe?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. For some reason, you got cut off. I don't know why.
We have usually network fluctuation here in Ghana. I'm speaking to you from Ghana. It might drop off. So if it happens again, it takes a few seconds for the system to come back up again.
Okay, very good. So thank you very much for coming back on. And I'm not sure where we were, just as you were about to, I think, answer one of my questions in terms of you were saying it was the shape of the craft would be like the shape of a disc, what we consider to be a UFO, correct?
Yes, correct. And the shape is created out of the field flow. It's not that we dictate it. We have done many tests and we see it to be the shape of the flow of the field, very much like Earth. And what we've done, we have cut the system in half, in a sphere in half, that allows it stability. A shape like Earth, as we see, we know, changes polarity so often. The sun changes polarity every 11.5 years. In space, if you fly at a high speed and suddenly change your polarity, can cause a lot of problems. In this process, the way it's designed is that you cut the sphere into half, and then you add your system, gravitational system in the base at 3 reactors. So this gives us stability. That's why we see UFOs, what we call unidentified. Now they're identified. We know it, we can create fields in it, and this is the purpose of it. So it looks like a dish. It has 4 permanent cores, which create gravity and magnetic field. And then you have what we call the boundary cores, that it attracts all the fields which are created internally to build up, and then the structure takes shape. Then it creates its own body. It creates its own outer boundary, and then you dictate the position of the flight. How many people, how you want to structure it, 10-meter diameter, 100-meter diameter, then it's in your hand to expand it. You can retract it. You can increase the shield barrier to 1 meter, 100 meter, 200 meter. So when you travel at a high speed, you don't get any penetration of the dust or whatever, or birds or whatever, because it's a dynamic shield, it's not static. And this is the first, these tests all have been done. Governments have been testing these for over 8 years, 10 years now. And in so many ways, it's the beauty of the new knowledge is done by people, not by government now. We gave the structure development to government. Now it's done by ordinary man.
Okay, let me ask you, because you said something that was very interesting before we were also cut off, which I wanted to ask you about, which has to do with, you said that you were now getting the permission from the, I think you said the Chinese, and not sure who the other government was.
The Iranians, the Chinese, the Russians have been using it. So we have given them what you call forward hand. They've been ahead of us. Now the people, the public are producing it. We've done this before. We gave the patent to the government 2 years before we gave to public. And then we opened our patent to public freely. And now the technology, development of the technology is done by people, by public. But the medical application, the health application, the food, the water decontamination, all is done by public. There is no governmental structure in it, because in time governments will come in on what they've done. We know, we've seen many people. The Keshe supporters runs into tens of millions. Is considered by, I was talking to some officials, it's become one of the most used technologies in such a short time. Everybody's doing it. The housewife can do it. You got a pain in your arm, you've been for 10 years suffering, and you don't see any way out of it. Go on the Keshe Foundation, www.keshefoundation.com. Learn how to make the material. It costs you less than $5, and you get rid of the pain of lifetime. It could be anything. Now you don't need to ask me, to ask a doctor, and they say FDA hasn't approved it. You do it at home. Follow the teachings. We have a educational site, KFSSI. Join in and learn. And you can join anytime. It's a full time. It's 10 to 5 every day, 5 days a week. You can join in, you learn, and you do it yourself. You can build energy units that it saves you a lot of energy at home. You can create different things and come and teach us. There is no pride to be, I know everything. We as a human race now, we start learning and sharing. Go on the Keshe Foundation website, go on the testimonials. You have a disease, you have a shortage in anything, energy, go and look and learn and do it yourself. If you can't do it, we have factories around the world who can support you. They build it for you. And then you can do it. You can ask for it and follow it up and build it up yourself. It's not anymore it's us, we control everything. We have opened our patterns and we teach it every day. Every day, there are at least many classes around the world to teach you how to do it. You have a child who has been suffering from lack of oxygen at birth. You could have what we call handicapped child on your hand. For the rest of your life, it's going to affect you and your family. Now, with this technology, we have learned how to grow the brain cells. Your child, in the age of 2 or 3, if you follow the structure correctly, you get your child back. You live a normal life. You don't have to carry a handicapped child. I don't do it. You do it at home. The structure is there. The teaching is there. You have a brain stroke. You have a brain hemorrhage. Now we know how to make brain cells. You do it at home. We just teach you how to do it. You are in a position you can't afford electricity to pay. Go on the website. Learn how to make it. Instead of paying $100, $200 electricity bill, pay 20, pay 40. And now there's very soon generators are coming out. You don't pay anything. But you have to learn, you have to put back into society. It's not a free ride. It's what you have learned, what you have gained, put back in the society. And we do that. We do at the local level, we do at the national level, we do at the international level.
Okay.
And this is the beauty of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, this is wonderful, obviously, sounding, and I think, of course, everyone is going to be very fascinated with it. In terms of Ghana, can you tell us why you chose Ghana to build this new spaceport initially? And if you also could elaborate on the fact that you say other governments are using this technology, where are they going? Are you talking about what we call the secret space program, or programs that each of these countries may have? In other words, Iran and also China and Russia. You're saying they're using this technology. I see you didn't mention the United States. So can you say, first of all, so there's two parts to the question. One is why Ghana? And then the second part is if these other countries have been using this technology, where are they going with it? Are they going to Mars? Are they going to the moon? Can you talk about that?
First of all, why Ghana? We are in the United States. We have official offices in California. We have a factory in Arizona, research center in Arizona. We are in more or less every nation there is a Keshe Foundation supporter or organization. When we teach, our teaching gets translated between 12 to 18 languages within a week. So we are not something unknown. On the other hand, Ghana, because I have worked in Africa for a long time, and I sent one of our, what I call best students to Ghana. He's a Ghanaian, about a year and a half, 2 years ago now. I said, you go and see what you can do. When he came here, he was accepted by the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission to be inside to work with them. He showed them the power of the energy. He built them the unit. He showed them how the waters of the technology which has produced the natural water can be used for diabetic, for high blood pressure, for all kinds of diseases. So when we came here to organize a conference last October, we had a 3-day conference, and only by elite scientists of the government and atomic energy were here. So we are one, because I come from nuclear, and it was the extension next step. We understood each other's language. We immediately came to an agreement with the scientists and the Ghana Energy Commission. We established a company. Immediately establishing a company, we opened a factory. We started producing the material which we promised we'll do, which was the production of the water and energy unit. And the reason for it was, when we came, it was done because most of the heads of and staff of the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission have been using this technology. There was nothing to prove. It was just how fast we can get into the market for the rest of Ghana. And Keshe Foundation technology is a space technology. These are the byproducts. These are what it comes down, the spin-offs of it. So it's a natural process. We already employ people. We are here 5 months factory. We have the top scientists of this country. We only employ masters and above, and they're working in the factory. We pay wages above average, more or less European graduate wages, initial wages, which is unheard of in Africa. They said it cannot be done. They just are here. When we pay the first wages, 4 times the national salary equal to European, the government, so we are here to serve the nation. And now they offered us land, said move on, expand. We give you what you need. They gave us a massive space of land. We have access to huge land to expand. And in being given the land, in our conference in Rome, which we had 6 weeks ago, when we showed it, the gentleman said, I built it for you. I came here to offer it. And he took over control of everything. And he's even negotiating himself with the what we call the builders. We found the architect team to design it. And there's going to be 4 or 5 of these designs on the same area, because the land belongs to the government. We are in the military zone. And we saw the 2 or 3 people in Europe, in Belgium and others, they bombarded the ministries, the newspapers, this is crook, this is this. The government said, you know, they're just wasting their time. We've seen the results. We are in 4 ministries, the FDA approval, the standard approval going through. We just don't listen. But on the other hand, it's expansion of rapid growth, because it brings huge support, help for the nation. They don't need to import huge amount of medicine. They don't need to import fuel. They don't need to do a lot of things. And it was a consensus of government seeing us, the whole nation is using it. The whole Accra is vibrating with this thing. It's arrived here. They gave us a massive land. We found very rapidly by donation to build. And we have received one massive donations for other parents for our computer to teach the technology across Accra. Just people are donating to change the course of humanity.
Okay.
And from here, we've been approached by a number of governments, presidents now requesting that we go and see them, that we can establish the same thing since we announced this.
I see.
It belongs to the nation of Ghana. It doesn't belong to Keshe Foundation.
I understand. And so when you said these other governments have been, as I said, that, you know, the second part of the question, these other governments have been using this technology. You spoke of China and Iran and Russia. And so what I'm asking is, if they've been using the technology, have they been building what we call these UFOs in the shape of a saucer, and are they flying as we have been told and seen? We certainly see craft of all kinds in our skies always. Some of these may be these from these countries. Are you saying they're using this technology? I'm assuming you're talking about a plasma engines to go interstellar, to go to Mars, to go to other planets. Are you aware of this, if they're using the technology?
I've given you many interviews in the past. Mm-hmm. And as you know, exactly 9 years ago, 2008, I was invited at the time by His Excellency President Ahmadinejad Ayatollah Khamenei to go to Iran to develop the technology for Iran. I spent 4.5 months in Tehran. We developed the space technology. When I came back, as you know, we met with the American ambassador. As other nations received the key, the Americans developing the technology very rapidly, but they couldn't understand the key to it, how it is. They haven't managed to unravel the key yet. The technology was shared by Iran with Russia and China. In so many ways, China are doing it themselves because they have huge Keshe Foundation supporting, and the scientists understand the technology. And we know for a fact the use of this technology has prevented a number of conflict zones. And we can go one by one to it because they can show the power of it. You Americans have not understood it, most probably out of what I call arrogance of not wanting to be part of international organization to develop further. What you call NASA has blacklisted Keshe Foundation because of the misconduct of the Belgian government. And if you want, I can tell you what's happening while your president is on the tour in Europe is because of the Keshe Foundation. I have given all the details downloaded by the American securities 2 weeks ago. The Chinese government has been fully informed in a way because of the power of this technology in the hand of China. Your president is on errand. He's not there as a president in Europe, going to Saudi Arabia, going to Jerusalem, going to Vatican, then going to Belgium to tell the Belgium the monarchy is over, you overstepped your line. Going to NATO immediately to report how much information was stolen by Belgians and shared by North Korea. And then your president, on an errand by the instruction of the Chinese leadership, is back to Sardinia, to G7, to report exactly what the Chinese found out. And because of the power of technology in their hand and correct conduct, the punishment of what happens has to be decided what they're going to do with the countries which just stole the technology, tried to use it in North Korea against China. And the Chinese are fully aware of it. And Chinese president 4 weeks ago, met or made a call to your president. It's your job, you stop it, not mine, because we can stop our own end. We are aware the Chinese can stop the North Korean, what they call rocket technology, which is stolen from NATO by the Belgians, the head of European Space Agency, being connected with the Belgium nuclear, Belgium space, and Belgium electronics. They supplied in the back door the North Korea to launch their rockets. Chinese found out their support from Vatican, and in so many ways was a pressure on China to split China open. China became aware of what was in plan to literally break open China using the Muslims in west side of China, financed by the Israelis to push them the way they did in Libya. And then a visit was planned by the Pope to visit China in the fall, winter of this year and beginning of the unrest in China. Chinese found out, the intelligence was accepted. They called President Trump and they said, it's your job to stop. So what you see at the moment, what is called the peace trip, bringing religions together, is in a way Chinese putting the red card out. Muslims cannot start wars and destruction in the west of China the way they've been financed by Israel. They've been told off. Now he's into Vatican. Vatican has financed nuclear development through Belgium. They're going to get the red card because it was a trip planned to Pope to be there. We know this firsthand because of the intelligence we have. And then he's going to Belgium to sell to the Belgian king. The kingdom is over. Belgium will be turned into a democracy by presidentship because they have used, there was a fear that if anything happens to Belgium, there could be problem for EU. The problem is resolved. The king of Belgium will abdicate and the presidency will rule the Central Europe as a Belgium. This is what will be discussed because Belgium have stolen a lot of technology and they have passed it to Korea and other nations. NATO was stripped of its knowledge and its weapon technology by the head of European Space Agency groups, which are Belgians. And you will just follow what I told you. You will see why the trip is planned this way. And then whatever has been decided, we'll be discussing NATO to see damage limitation, how much technology has been stolen out of NATO, how much space technology has been stolen out of French space organization. And then we hear what G7 has to do, and most probably in the next 2 years, we see the end of kingship in Belgium, beginning of what we've been telling you, or we've been taught that the end of kingship, because this is the knowledge we have out of where we sit, and we respect His Excellency, President Xi, for his wisdom, for his correct conduct. Instead of creating wars and conflict, he made a call to the President Trump and explained the situation. They have found out about a coup. They found out about destruction of another war financed by using religion as a way. So what we see your president is on a trip is more or less, you don't do it, we cash in the debts of the United States, there'll be no United States, Europe will collapse. So what to you is that the president is on unifying the religions, is actually punishing the religions who started the war, who was planning to do it. And this goes back to wisdom of His Excellency President Xi, with the information which they had in their hand. Because don't forget, North Korea, out of nowhere, a country which cannot even feed its nation, becoming launching rockets, was going into nuclear, and nobody could understand. Now we understand it was financed by Vatican. It's understood the technology was stolen, transferred by Belgium into North Korea to put pressure on China when the Pope goes for a visit. And Chinese became aware of this, and it will not happen. There will nothing happen. China will stay as one united nation, as one nation, and we respect it, we honor their territory. And it comes out of having the technology in their hand, and they know they can block a lot of things.
Okay, well, thank you. That's quite quite an interesting geopolitical analysis. And
it's not the analysis, it's a fact. We can deliver data, papers,
okay,
communications.
I understand. So what I wanted to know is, with that in mind, can you explain again the use of this technology aside from nuclear, which is very old technology at this point? You said that the new technology has been in the hands of China, Iran, and Russia. And I'm asking you whether they have used it to go to space or not.
Yes, they have. They have.
Okay.
We are fully aware of it. It's something which governments keep to themselves. And very soon, now that we launched the space station here in Accra, we will ask the Iranians to join us. We ask the Iranian top scientists, space scientists who have developed the space technology of Iran to join us, the same with the Chinese. We invite the Russians here to us to develop it with us. Don't forget, you Americans know this technology exists. You lost your most advanced spy craft in 4th of December 2011 to the Iranians. We captured it by this technology. We just shielded it. We expanded what I was telling you, expand your boundary of your atmosphere as a shielding. We just expanded shielding. We got your craft like nothing. Now Iranians are selling it for a few $1,000s. Your President Obama, went on radio and television, says, can we have our toy back? And 24 hours before, you were in most advanced, what do you call it, a spy plane in the world. Nobody could do anything with it. Within a flick of a finger of a gravitational magnetic field, the most advanced technology of the United States became a toy, and the president asked for it. This is the beauty of this technology. It brings peace. At the moment, the technology in Haftan, China, will not allow a single rocket to be launched if they decide out of the silos. They let them play. We have to understand who was cheating, who was stealing. How a nation cannot feed was putting rockets one after another. French spent millions, billions to find out how to launch. Americans, your government spent trillions to launch properly. How come a nation not having anything was launching one after another? It was a gap. You see what happens, all goes back to the Iranian negotiation, peace negotiation. China now has the technology to silence any nuclear reactor, any nuclear launch in their silo. Part of the technology is what is used from our technology. It's a multiple use application. All they do, they create a separation over the tank. The reactor,
okay,
the ignition key doesn't even come into operation.
All right, well, if that's true, then why don't we see the end to the radiation from Fukushima at this time?
That is a different job. At the moment, Fukushima is a very big structure for themselves. Fukushima has been handled. Fukushima is getting handled. And if they couldn't handle it, they would not allow nuclear reactors to come into operation. There is a factor before. I'm very close with the operation of Fukushima. I speak to TEPCO myself directly. We used to have an intermediary, which is not there anymore. I speak to TEPCO directly. Fukushima was an accident, and that was a military accident. Fukushima wasn't a normal reactor meltdown. Reactor number 1 was getting used to produce plutonium that Japan comes part of the nuclear power. Americans were aware of it. Now, the two nations which did the most damage in the Second World War with no permission to enter, to develop nuclear industry, they have entered nuclear industry. One is Germany, one is Japan. The reason we have a problem in the shape it is in reactor number 1, because it was fully loaded with plutonium. Japan was a few months away to become a nuclear power. And Fukushima by accident, there is a certain amount of, we think it was coincidental this happened. Could be multiple coincidences coming together. But reactor number 1 cannot be saved. It's a nuclear bomb which has gone off. It's not just a reactor explosion.
Okay, well, I mean, all the evidence points to the fact that this Fukushima was never an accident. It was a targeted hit. this was a hit
put it
on
this way,
Japan.
there is a lot of conspiracy theories behind it. If we find out about the Kennedy's shooting, we find about Fukushima too.
Sure.
But understanding, if you look at the structure just before, a few weeks before, that the company was sold to another company was the reason out of nowhere. Then we see a lot of what you call top guys disappearing since the accident. There's a lot of unknown around Fukushima. But there's one thing for fact we know. There is no doubt about it. Due to the amount of tritium in the tanks, we only get this condition in the way we see it in the reaction of the chain of the nuclear process. Only indicates use of plutonium. You don't have this amount of plutonium in a normal nuclear power station. It's impossible. If it was, Iran would have been a nuclear power months ago and whatever, using bombs, whatever. It's impossible to produce it. It means they were purifying.
Yes,
they had all the facilities.
Okay, and
it ran out of control. There's something went wrong with the earthquake and the rest of it. It ran out of control. We have no problem with reactor 2, 3, and 4. Nuclear reactor 1 was nuclear-based atomic in the going to the bomb situation to produce weapons.
Okay, but they were enriching using enriching uranium. I believe was the way I heard it, but it came from Israel. So then it was they were attacked through Stuxnet, and the meters were reading the opposite.
I don't know. We see the aftermath.
Right.
We see there's a lot of conspiracy theories with it. Who did it? Whatever happened to it?
Right.
Maybe part of the theory is correct. Nobody wanted Japan to become a nuclear, what do you call it, nation. But from what we see, you have to realize, as a nuclear physicist, we are not talking about a cardboard box. We are not talking about little things. It's not easy. Israelis have tried many times to damage Iranian nuclear reactors, and the Iraqis and the rest of it. They have the knowledge. I wish they would use this knowledge in conjunction with the Keshe Foundation in a better way for humanity. If we bring the knowledge of the Israelis and combine with the Americans, Keshe Foundation, the Chinese, and the Iranians, we'll make a beautiful, peaceful planet. And this is the aim of the Keshe Foundation. If they hit it, if the Israelis blow it up, have you ever been in a nuclear reactor site? It's not an easy thing. The only way that it could have been done is the sabotaging fuel, recycling of the water. They dried it, possible. It is known as China syndrome. We are trained as nuclear physicists and reactor controllers how to handle it. We've seen it happening in Russia once in a different way. But the problem is we have 3 reactors blowing. I could accept one being hit, it was isolated. We've seen simultaneously 3 reactors going and the 4th one. Does not make sense. This is good for writing a book, but why don't we see explosion pattern in number 2, 3, and 4? How did number 2 and 3? They're all isolated pipeline. If you've been in nuclear site, these are not toys, these are not boilers. Some places are 12-meter thick, concrete reinforced.
Okay, but Keshe, rather than spend a lot of time on that discussion, you are basically talking also about using this technology to clean up Fukushima, and you're saying yet it has not been done, but you're working with them. What is the delay? What is the delay?
Yeah, there is no delay. They have used the technology in different parts for their use. Japanese are using any technology possible to do. They are still working on it. Have we managed to clean up the Chernobyl? Where is the 3 Mile Island situation? Why do we have 2 reactors out of control in Albania and Eastern Bloc? Why do we have Belgium 3 nuclear reactors sitting on the edge of it, cracks to be blown up? These are the risks the governments take. I'm a nuclear physicist. I've been born to understand the structure of it. Talk is cheap, but these nuclear reactors are not easy to handle, and they can clean up. We can clean up. Most of the cleanup is done. We don't see that much because a lot has been done. Japanese have developed a technology that are cleaning their farms, the lands, slowly, slowly. It's not a dust, it's a whole nation has been affected. The
well, it's the whole world, actually. From what I understand, California has a very high radiation.
You have a huge amount of it. You're getting it. We are all getting it. It's
and the
finished.
fish,
it's not just you anymore.
The fish in the ocean around the world, people are still eating fish, and with no warnings whatsoever. And the fish are highly contaminated. Isn't that correct?
There are connected. We will see this. This is inevitable. We're going to see this. This mayhem with Fukushima will haunt mankind for centuries to come. It's not just today, tomorrow.
Well, I don't understand if your technology is capable of working on this. Are you saying that your technology cannot handle this? Why do you say centuries to come if it's...
The thing is, we are developing, and the material has spread across the world oceans, is in the air. Mm-hmm. And Earth is not a little thing you can clean up with one pump. It's not a little swimming pool or a fish tank. If you go on understanding of what is known, the duck theory, the principle, as you know, a couple of decades ago, a container with the ducks you play with, the children play with in the bathtub, dropped off an ocean liner and opened up, and the ducks, some 20, 30,000 of them, float around the world. And the scientists stop bothering with it. They follow the pattern where these water flows goes. These ducks have shown us all the waters of the world are connected together in one way or another because they found the ducks, these little yellow plastic ducks. So the contaminations across the world, be it in Middle East, be it in Black Sea, be it in North America, be it in all sorts of places.
Right.
We cannot contain it. It's impossibility. What we can do, we can change the condition that our body, when it accepts it, can reject it. From TEPCO, from other experiments, we know when you use the plasma technology, which we developed, we call it liquid plasma, it can absorb and reject the radiation from the body. You can use the plasma technology to absorb environmental radiation. We know this has been done. We literally put it through all tests. We know that. What is needed now, the world governments to start applying it. People are doing it at home. People are using it at home. Japanese are doing it themselves. Japan Keshe Foundation. You can go on the Keshe Foundation website, on the teaching side, you see Japanese are translating the technology for themselves. The problem is, can we get governments to work together to spread the knowledge, or are we becoming an organization that we teach people work in the nuclear industry, in the government during the day, and at home they make their gases and they do their cleaning up themselves?
Okay. What about the current situation with, again, back to the sort of Ghana spaceport that you are building and this technology? In the past, it has been quite clear that there has been a lot of moves to try to stop you from doing what it is you would like to do.
They're still doing. It hasn't stopped.
Okay.
It never stops. You see, if you remember the last time we talked and we never talked again, and you know what happened after our talk about 18th of February last year is when I spoke with you. We saw a character being set up called the Guru of the Free Energy, Alan Sterling. And if you remember, go back on the recording. In my talk with you, you told me, Mehran, please do not talk, Mr. Keshe. Don't go too far with it. I used 2 sentences in that conversation, more or less. I said, we know, if you remember, Alan Sterling was bashing on Keshe Foundation. We are crooks, we are this, we are that. Everything possible was wrong with Keshe Foundation. In the interview we do, I used less than 1 minute. I said, I can repeat the sentence. We know who are the victims of Alan Sterling. They are his own children. 24 hours after your interview, he walked into the police station to FBI. He handed himself as a child molester, what do you call it, pedophile, and now he's in prison for life. When you look at the Utah prison list, it says parole, not applicable. His supporters, people who were getting benefit by it, now are working on the same basis in the background. Mr. Dirk, who's made the facts about Keshe, he was the biggest supporter. Why is he upset about it? Why is he right? Because he was the webmaster of the Keshe Foundation. He was doing the same thing. We never disclosed this. He used the Keshe Foundation website when he was a webmaster, doing exactly what Alan did. Pedophiling. He has websites where he says how he wants 6-year-old children. We never disclosed this. Why is he upset? He's writing so much across the Keshe Foundation. Everything is nobody else right but there. Because he was a webmaster, he was using the same way as Alan in getting children. He's called the authorities in Belgium. He writes on the everywhere else. I have a criminal record. We have a criminal record, yes. We let this criminal to join the Keshe Foundation without knowing. There is no opposition, except one man in past. Since Alan Sterling is gone, he's in because he used to import children to Belgium. He's the biggest pedophile. You don't support. And now we don't have any opposition. In the next 48 hours, we might release something very interesting to understand how world leaders play the Keshe Foundation game. It'll be very interesting. But I don't care because we are a scientific organization. We are, as part of humanity, a peace movement through knowledge. And our door is open for every nation. The only problem we have is we went the route of public. We went through the route of understanding the totality altogether, that this time the knowledge is not getting lost. Big organizations are going to get touched by it. There's no doubt. Pharmaceuticals are going to be hit heavily once less people start using their material because they use their own system at home. But the beauty of it is we find peace with it. We find comfort in using the technology, and with it we bring peace to humanity. The reason I explained the situation with China and Vatican, because we are a peace motion. We have the information, we shared it, and it was proven to be correct. The knowledge, the information through the use of the technology shared by the government has put your president on the tour of what I call peace motion, which is not, it's actually telling the governments, you cannot go to there, you cannot do this, now I have to go and report to the boss. The Chinese have taken control over the peace movement, over the 9 nations of the world. Through their economical power, now you're the most powerful man, President Trump, is on the errand by the order of the President of China. Because you don't do it, we call the cards in, we want peace. The biggest nation which is going to use my technology, our knowledge, our information to bring peace is China, followed by Iran.
I see.
Immediately followed by other nations. You look at how the technology has affected your air forces in North Alaska last few weeks ago. Paralyzed. They can paralyze any American space as they wish, because you do not play the game of new science. You are playing with donkeys. They're in jumbo jets.
All right.
You
well,
lost the ship.
Okay, fair enough. Let me ask you though, what about the situation in Antarctica? Are you aware of what's going on down there, and how does this factor into the global geopolitical situation that you're
I'm
discussing?
not aware. I cannot make any comment. I don't know nothing about it. It's something I don't look at. I don't concern. I've never been there to do it. I do apologize. I'm at zero knowledge in there, and if I make a comment, it's just trying to say something. You won't hear that from me. If I don't know, I keep silent.
I see. Okay. Are you aware of the ETs behind governments?
This was part of the discussion in past few days with our knowledge seekers. The communication with the leading governments has been going on. It is not to be denied. Is people are getting educated in the space technology enough to understand life can exist through any spot in the universe. Intelligence is the function of man or being, how to apply what he learns for his survival. It's not exclusivity of this planet. We have shown we can create life on this planet. You can do it in your kitchen. Now we understand that life is divided in two parts, the gaseous part and the solid part. The gaseous part creates the amino acid, which is NOH. The interaction of the gaseous part with the solid part or the liquid part leads to creation of life. When the gaseous part, which is amino acid, interacts with the metal part, which is iron, you get hemoglobin, beginning of life. You interacted with zinc and copper, you get muscles and tissues. You interacted with calcium and potassium, you get bones. Now we understand this. So if such a thing can happen on this planet, life can exist anywhere in use. It's for us to define what life is. It's for us to respect life in any shape or form. And we need the peace on this planet, that we respect ourselves as a human being, that then we can respect the others. The communication, what you call it, ETs or extraterrestrial or men of the universe, always been there.
Certainly.
There is no doubt. But let me explain something to you. I can statistically, I've made this statement many times. 1/3 of the people amongst us are not from this planet. Clearly they are not. If you see what I see, I can walk on the street and I tell you this guy is not from here, but it looks like here, because this planet, with this atmosphere condition, dictates such a shape: 2 legs, 2 arms, and a heart and a thing. I was teaching to my students today how you happen to become a human being. If you roll up to the soul, you can go and, according to the condition of another planet, you become 4 legs and 2 arms. We have to understand we are not unique. We have to understand our leaders have been afraid to share the knowledge with us. Chinese are very advanced in communication with what you call ETs. Part of NASA is involved in it. We know that they have access. They've been, it's impossible if you say that. I have shown myself video recording, which I have recorded in public and others have done with me, of the spaceships. It's no problem. We are just getting there. It doesn't mean up to now, because we didn't see we can deny it. But we have to learn one thing. The key for man to interact with the universal community is to grant peace on this planet first. It's no use taking our wars into beyond the boundaries of this planet.
Well, actually, I mean, I appreciate that sentiment, but the trouble is that this is actually denying the fact that there are other, wars going on in space, and there have been for eons.
No, the war is the thinking of the man, because he has to confirm he exists to kill.
You think only man is engaged in wars.
Though this is the fantasy of the people. If there was such a war going on, why don't we see it for thousands of years? We have these huge telescopes, spend billions.
Yes.
Why don't we see any?
Well, we do actually,
Do we?
Yes, there are. We are having all kinds of wars with various races.
This is a very good book selling. But if you, let me explain to you how wrong you are.
What about artificial intelligence?
No, let me explain to you. Let me explain to you how wrong you are.
Mm.
We are scientists. We are developing it. We are seeing it. When you have the knowledge to have whatever you want, whenever you want, why do you need to fight for it? Does not make sense. And a man of space who managed to enter space.
Keshe, are you
Pardon?
familiar with reptilians?
You can call whatever you call yourself. You can call whatever you like. Knowledge.
No, I am
a
talking
gift.
about I'm talking about a species called reptilians that
We
inhabit
call
this
them.
planet.
I told you 1/3 of this planet are not from this planet.
Okay.
So
are you aware
where are
that
they coming from?
Yes. Are you aware that they do make war?
Have you seen any?
Yes,
I haven't.
I have.
You're a very clever woman if you have. Nobody. The thing is,
What about
if
artificial intelligence that comes to our planet? Not all of the
there is
artificial
no
intelligence.
artificial. Everything has a sense of living. These are the things we have to get rid of in our vocabulary.
Well,
We have
you can
made
use different terminology, but you know what I'm talking, silicon-based life forms.
Of course, why not? Why do we have a blood type form? Because silicon to us exists in that form, the way where they come from. There's a limited silicon that it can create intelligence life. Why not? This is a reality.
Do you not see that this might, what about our own artificial intelligence and that the fact that it could be threatening humans here on planet Earth?
The biggest threat to the human beings are the human themselves out of their stupidity and greed. There is nothing else.
What
rest
about
is
nano?
made up.
Are you familiar with nano? Are you familiar with nano?
What is nano?
Artificially intelligent satellites made of that are nano-based.
Let me tell you, I'm the most advanced scientist in nanotechnology. My nanotechnology is so advanced you cannot even imagine it. I can use it in any shape or form.
Okay.
You tell me what you want to know about nanotechnology. Even people going on my site have got Nobel Prize learning from how I do things. I produce nanomaterial in kilos and tons a day. There is no one more advanced than Keshe Foundation supporters who produce it. Now you tell me what you want to know about nano. It's superconductor in one direction and super resistor in the others at the room temperature. It's a dream of the man. So governments are using it. The company in Belgium who...
Are you not aware that there could be a threat to human life from nano?
Why a threat?
Artificially
Our body is made of
nanomaterials.
nanomaterials. Our body is made, I can show it to you. Go on the Keshe Foundation website, get a nanomaterial, put it in the salt, it becomes life.
Yes, of course, but there still can be a threat to humanity from this.
Why? Where? The ignorance creates fear. In Keshe Foundation, we don't have this. Because you go to now I tell you, you tell your listeners a very simple thing. You have millions of listeners, you have a huge support base. Go to a supermarket, buy toilet opener. It says caustic on the bottom of it. Get yourself a piece of wire at home from your lampshade you don't use anymore. Put the caustic, put the wire, put the hot water on it, leave it for 24 hours, empty it out, close the cap again, you start going black. You are producing first time nanomaterial out of the material itself. Now, wash it, black stuff, leave it for 24 hours, it goes all black. Wash it, put it in the salt with another piece of zinc from a battery, container of the battery, you start creating CO2. Put a piece of metal in it, you start creating blood. Now, what is wrong with nanotechnology, if you understand it? It's the essence of your creation. You are becoming like what I call the Islamic Muslims, the imams. Do you know how they abuse the imams? How did the priests abuse humanity?
No,
People
the question
breathe,
is,
the
questions are, these are questions that one must ask, and that there are some very real threats to human life here on this planet.
Yes, listen, when you are ignorant, when you don't know, you accept it. And now we know. Why should we accept the rubbish?
It's a matter of not accepting, but questioning, always questioning. That's my job.
You're right, but understand the technology in nano and in plasma and in what we call gas, nano a state of gas, that advanced.
Okay, you're not aware of the Lockheed Martin, the story of the Lockheed Martin scientists who did a test to find out whether there was a chance that the artificially intelligent nano satellites would at one point turn against humanity? And they found that there was
Can I ask you
60%.
something? Something doesn't never made any sense to me.
Right.
And as a man of peace, I don't see it. Maybe we are blind to it. Why everybody has to be enemy to kill against human? Why doesn't human stop making bombs and guns and then become peaceful at itself? That you find the whole of the
I'm with
universe is
you on
peaceful.
all of this, but this is not, you know, I'm not making this up out of my head. I'm
No,
simply giving you information.
It's
So
not
I
making it.
appreciate
It's
that you
not.
have a good positive attitude towards this, but that doesn't necessarily make it go away.
It doesn't go away because they have to do it to keep jobs going. When a nation like Belgium has got 40% of its income coming from military, what do you think it has to do? It has to be used. You can't make things when there is no customer, so you create a war to feed it. So you go more advanced. What is a company called IMAC is doing? Producing the most advanced weapon technology in nanomaterial, using South Korean scientists, using North Korean scientists, using Chinese scientists, using American scientists. Look, wherever you see IMAC, IMECK, you look what it is. It's the most advanced nano weapon technology company under cover of intelligence. You think I don't know? I know what they are doing.
Okay.
But if you produce, if you make the knowledge now. Let me tell you something which nobody had understood about Keshe Foundation. Keshe Foundation has moved away from physical structure of what I explained to you how we can make. But in doing that, we have understood the structure of the soul of the man. We can elevate, we can support the soul of the man that is not fighting, that doesn't see any reason for fight. If I tell you where is your soul, you said
Hello? Okay, I think we must have lost him again. Stand by and I will call him back. So hold on. And then why don't everyone put your questions in caps, because we've been going for a while and we'll try to close this down after a while. But I'd like to get questions from the audience. So bear with me here while we try to reach Keshe. Hello.
hello? Can
Hi.
you hear me?
Okay, now we can,
It's a network. Every charges every 30 minutes or so. So what you see with the Keshe Foundation is that we start teaching people the humanity. Now we know where the soul of the man is. Now we know through the control of the soul of the man, you create physicality. Now we can put challenges for you to understand that now we are responsible for our soul. It's not something somewhere. It's inside us. It's in the center of us. As it loses its energy, as it radiates its energy out, it creates our brain. It creates our physicality. Now we have to respect our own soul where we are. And this is the change which the Keshe Foundation understands, we teach, and we can elevate. You can elevate your own soul. Because now you can take new dimension in it.
Yes, absolutely. Listen, what I want to do at this point, we've been going for a while. I want to give people a chance to ask you questions. We have quite an active chat room that's going along with the show. So at this point, I'm going to turn to the questions here and see if you want to answer any of the questions that get put into the chat here. So if you'll bear with me one moment. And let's see, someone wants to know if you have already built a spacecraft.
You think I'm here for nothing and I haven't been on? You have to do it. If we do it this time again for you, then it becomes magic show. You want to see the base of a spacecraft, the spaceship was shown in Rome about 3-4 weeks ago. There are 2 units here, there's 2 units in the United States. It'll be shown by man, not by the government. It's a pleasure when you board one. Let me tell you what you'll see first. You find a space of peace. In a way, you're part of the whole structure. If you can understand the structure within it, as I explained, understanding the structure of the soul of the man, due to the way it's been built, it brings you to a state of receiving what you need. There are no anxiety, there are no worries as we have. When you travel in it, you know you're safe. When you're in it, you become part of the universe. When you travel in the depth of the space with it, you feel free. And when you understand what you have joined, you join the Universal Council, or what you call Universal Community. This is the difference. I take pleasure in being part of it. We share it. If I was not, I could not share. You put the knowledge from biology to physics to chemistry to every aspect of science. I explain. My knowledge comes beyond this planet. I share my knowledge freely. I've been asked by the Islamic groups in the past few days, can you explain to us? We are waiting for Mehdi. Are you one? Are you the Mehdi that you bring peace, evolution of peace on man? Yes, I am. Are you the Messiah? I am. Are you the Meshi? Yes, I am. Because my mission is one thing, is peace on this planet. The term of the religions are finished. Religion has no base anymore because the man is educated to understand, has no fear from himself. From something which was there, we don't know what it was. Now with this technology, we stand to teach the correct way that man finds peace with himself. This is what is the mission. Now we carry it out. Doesn't matter how mankind was to twist it, we have the way. I want to see the end of religions because you're waiting for someone to bring it an end that they can start uniting. Trump will not do it for you. He's serving the punishment. We are offering you the peace. Okay, we are offering you peace through knowledge, not through fear.
Yes, I understand. Okay, so someone wants to know, someone in the chat room wants me to thank you for exposing the pedophile rings.
72,000 of them. And the guy who writes about facts about Keshe is the head of it. That's why he got exposed. Look for him. Go to the Keshe Foundation and go look for the guy who says facts about Keshe, the guy who writes it, and look at the pedophile ring of Alan Sterling. He was supporting him very heavy. He brought the Alan Sterling into the Keshe Foundation. He was the webmaster. His anger is he lost the webmastership of the Keshe Foundation, where he used to get free children for his bosses. We have to understand one thing. They shout and cry. But the reality is, the pedophilia has been encouraged through religions. One way or another has been covered up by religions. You go, we've seen the priests in Vatican. We've seen the Islamic world marrying a 9-year-old girl. How come a girl is mature in the Islamic world at 9 and is a pedophile in Vatican at the age of 12? Man has come to become mature to let the religion go because he is the religion. He is his belief which dictates his soul. So when we expose the pedophilia, we've seen the reactions. We had no attack on Keshe Foundation. When we opened Sterling Allen's and he got life sentence, his biggest supporter has to attack because he lost his biggest income. Mr. Dirk, who's written about the Keshe Foundation, he was a webmaster of Keshe Foundation. This is what annoyed me, how we allowed a pedophile to do exactly what Allen did. He wrote in his diary, in his name, 50% of my visitors are pedophiles. I said, how does he know? So he was entertaining it. The same as Dirk. He pushed in every way to be whatever we did, he was to be webmaster. I couldn't understand at the time why. Now, standing back, we see why. Because he has access to all the IPs numbers. He could follow the children. He was sharing it. So now we have another nest sitting in Belgium. But he uses my name. This is what Alan is telling. Use my technology, new technologies to bring children. Now he writes it. Governments are aware of it. Now we know. We are laughing. What they wrote recently in Ghana news, it became the laughing stock. A pedophile, head of a pedophile, supporting a pedophile, is. And look at his private website.
Okay.
Looking for
Okay.
6-year-old children.
Keshe?
Why doesn't, let me ask you one question. This is the biggest question for us. Why doesn't Belgian government doesn't stop a website which is asking for the picture of 6-year-old children? Why is there a website for children only to be entertained if they give their emails? Why a company can advertise, we give a free cinema ticket for children to be taken pictures of?
Okay,
Which nation,
Keshe,
honest nation, is not twisted?
I appreciate all of this. However, in the interest of time, I need to go to the next question.
Yes.
Okay, so will the aliens allow us to colonize if we remain exploitive of resources? Someone is asking.
I'm going to tell you something which you never know, but now you know. Men have been in space for many years, thousands of years. You know, when you go on a holiday, you see nice people and you say, come with me, I'll take you. When you come to America, I show you the America. Man, to the time of intelligence, have traveled the space of the universe. It's not the first time. We are aliens ourselves. This is, if you understand the new technology, you can produce whatever you like. Earth is not a real estate organization with assets. If you understand and you've been around Keshe Foundation, you want gold, you create gold out of the fields which are available. You want zinc, copper, go on the Keshe Foundation teaching. You see people doing it. Peter Stark in Austria is doing it. You understand, you interact the fields, whatever is left over becomes material you like. You understand this stupidity of, oh, Earth is a very good real estate. Because you never understood. Now we can produce it. Man has been across the spans of universe. The original human beings who came in interaction with the man of space became part of it. You're not only belonging to this planet. If it's shock to you, it shows
It's
how
not a
little
shock.
understand.
Believe me, my audience is very familiar with that.
So we are already been in space.
Yes,
Human
of
beings
course.
have been in space for a long, long time. We were taken, we didn't have the knowledge. Just because you can't drive a car means you can't get into it.
Okay, someone else is asking, which ET group are you affiliated with?
I'm not the ET, so you find out. We are messengers of universe. We enlighten cultures to become peaceful, to join the rest. As long as the man stays in the state they are, as long as a man is abused by the name of the religion, which he practically finds that does not exist except himself, then when you go away, take you to space, every man you see, every creature you see becomes a prophet because he does something he never understood. So we are teaching mankind to understand the totality, that in the depth of a space does not find another anchor for misconduct.
Okay.
You don't need confession boxes everywhere across the universe because you did something wrong. When you know you cannot touch because it's not yours, you don't steal, you stay correct, not from your soul, not from the physicality of the others.
Okay.
So
Thank you.
this is nonsense.
Okay, thank you very much. There is someone here that wants to know, will the spaceship actually leave Earth, and how? I think what they're really asking is the spaceship going to go interdimensional in order to leave Earth?
Yes, it has to. It's already doing with the Iranian government for 8 years.
Okay.
Don't forget, let me explain to you something very interesting. When I sat with you, I've said this many times, when I sat with the American, on the election day of President Obama, when I was asked, I was called by the embassy that they would like to have the key where we had all the patents on. When we met, around 15th of November in Brussels with the officials of the American embassy, with all the CIA in a small cafe, when I gave the key to them, the USB stick, and I put my hand out, I said, we wanted to speak peace. The official said, Mehran, you can't do, your government is talking about the war and annihilation of Israel and the rest. I said, that's politics, it's not the nation. The Iranian nation wants peace. He said, I put my hand out, I wouldn't take it away. The ambassador of the council, they said, no, it cannot be. We cannot shake hands with you. We are at war. I said, you take my technology and the key from Iranian, but you want to shake hands of peace. We started the peace talk at that point, and we see how we achieved it.
Okay.
I have been instrumental in a number of peace talks. I followed it. I followed my government. I respect my nation. I respect the American nation. We found a solution for it. Now it's the same situation. We have to come to a point that all of us understand the knowledge is in the hand of governments. And if they wanted to stop us, they would have stopped Keshe Foundation by now. They're allowing us to teach others in a very national, international way, that it doesn't come from Chinese anymore. It doesn't come from Iranians. Chinese are at it, Iranian, Americans, we are all at it. I'm invited to go to Iran to teach in the next few weeks. I'm proud to go.
All right.
But I teach peace.
I understand.
So you will see, you will travel. All of us will travel. You can make it on top of your roof and do it.
All right, Keshe, someone else wants to know, have you traveled in one of the spaceships that you say Iran has?
I don't need to. It's too backwards. They had to learn a way.
I thought you said they had the technology.
Their technology is too backwards compared to what I have. But they have to start somewhere.
I see. So
and the rest of it, you can ask Ayatollah Rouhani, the re-elected president of Iran. This is what I said in our meeting to the American ambassador councils. As he said, can you tell us how you captured the American craft? I said, we cross your nation so many times you don't even understand because you don't have the technology to detect it. And Russians have used the same thing past few weeks again on you. You don't have the technology to detect it, so it doesn't exist because you don't see it. Yes. At the moment, Chinese are using it, the Americans, the Iranians are using it, the Russians are extensively using it just for a defense technology. When I entered Iran, after 3 weeks, I negotiated with the Iranian governments. There are documents in Tehran signed and registered in government notary office. My technology cannot be used for anything but peace. And the Iranians have honored it.
Okay.
And we're teaching the others the same.
I understand. But you're not the policeman of the universe, so you will not be able to necessarily enforce this, yeah?
I don't need to enforce it. My teaching enforces itself.
Uh-huh. All right. Well,
let me tell you something. I teach every Thursday morning for 4 or 5 hours. Keshe Foundation, KFSSI teaches every day from 10 o'clock till 1, 2 to 5.
Yes, but you do understand teaching is not
students medical.
Pardon? Wait. Teaching is not telling somebody what to do. In other words, other people will either follow your ideas or they will not, right? So they have free choice. So they may not choose to do this. Now somebody else wants to ask, where in space will you travel?
Join me, you will understand.
Okay.
Beyond your vision.
All right. Let's see.
Let me answer you in one way. You missed what I said. I said we are universal messengers. Dimension of the man at this moment is not, they can't even go beyond the boundary of his own planet, the solar system. We travel across the universes. So we carry the knowledge of most of what is as a creation across this existence.
Okay. Someone wants to know, this technology, is it available to all at this time? And I guess they want to know if it's what they call open source.
And of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Okay.
There are teachings, people doing workshops, teaching you whatever you want to do, whatever you want to do. I want to do a challenge with you, Kerry. This is my request, my question to you and to your listeners. One of the biggest burden on life, on man, especially new families, which affects them for tens of years, is children which is known to be born with lack of oxygen with different factors of disability. Let me explain to you why I put this question to you. I want to offer the Keshe Foundation supporters. We put Keshe Foundation supporters to each person, 2 or 3 of them. They follow our way and you bring the person. I want to accept 100, even 1,000 children who are mentally handicapped due to the birth, we call it through the lack of oxygen in the birth tunnel. And we want to give life back to every single one of them. That they're going to be around the age. We would like to try first between 2 and 4 years old. We teach you in these programs. I follow you every week. Let them come and say what problem they have. Come through the Keshe Foundation teaching. And let change the life of 100 or 1,000 people to show how easy it is to make brain cells. That these children start living a normal life. No medicine. You do it yourself at home. I have taught it in my teaching. Let's bring it with the programs like you to the home of every man. Let's make every house a happy house where they don't have to push a wheelchair. They don't have to wait when the child might speak when it's 5 or 10. Keshe Foundation supporters offer the world through you, and we follow you through you. We go continuously to your programs if you want to do it. Bring 100, 1,000, what do you call handicapped children due to the lack of oxygen at birth. We give you life back. You do it yourself. Parents do it at home. We don't do. We just tell you how it's got to be done. Because I have discovered the secret through the knowledge I carry with me, how to make brain cells back. Let me explain to you what the pitfall has been. We call it the lack of oxygen. I have explained in my teaching. We never understood. It's not the lack of oxygen. We live in a water world, in the world of the womb of the mother. We have to go to a transition to change to the air world where we can breathe air without the liquid which mother gave us. That position, if it's not switched, the brain out of the shock in a way doesn't switch over to reproduction of the new cells the way it was going in the liquid state, in the swimming state, in the water state. You call it lack of oxygen. Now we understand through new science of space technology that is actually the switching which is not done. When that switching is not done, the brain doesn't follow growing because now it's changing to air breathing instead of water. We are a fish, and in a few seconds we have to become man of air. You call it lack of oxygen. We understand now is a switching which doesn't happen. I have developed a technology which that switching will take place and the brain will start switching on, growing as normal. A child whose handicap is going to be 25, be like age of 4 mentally, he'll be 25, mentally 25. We can say we can change the condition. I offer through your program a chance for humanity to help its children, but the parents do it. Give me 1 hour, give me 10 minutes. I lay out the procedure. Mothers use it. Keshe Foundation support teams across the world are there to support you, to show you how to do it. You can do it at home yourself and see your child change. And start, every one of you will save a child of you to become normal. Take another 100 person to teach. In less than 12 months, we'll reach millions. Because the technology goes to the root of understanding. We know how to create brain cells. No child should suffer from any kind of diseases or handicap because the switching in the brain from a liquid world to the air world has not happened.
Okay, so Keshe,
I'll give you that challenge. That's your challenge. If you want to raise 100 people, and you monitor it, not us.
Okay, you put it out there. Let's see what happens. What I'd like to do is we need to wrap this up. The show has been going for about 2 hours now. So what I'd like to do is have you give out any information about yourself, how to reach your foundation, et cetera, so that people can find you and come in and learn from whatever classes you're teaching, et cetera.
If you go if you want to learn how to make the nanomaterials and the waters to help yourself with the pain and everything else, and learn, go to www.Keshe Foundation, which is K for Kilo, E for Edward, S for Sugar, H for Henry, E for Edward, foundation.org. If you want to learn it constructively through the teachers every day, you go to KFSSI. If you live in Europe, in America, and in the countries you can afford, you pay €100 to be a student. If you live in the third world nations or what they call deprived nations in Africa, which doesn't exist, are richer than us, it's totally free. If you want to join a space program that you can make and develop the space technology, go to the spaceshipinstitute.org. Either way, you can join, learn, become, use. The only condition we have when you join us, sign a World Peace Treaty. It means you'll never use this knowledge for harming no one. It's got to be used a peaceful way. We teach you, Keshe Foundation supporters, there are so many workshops around the world, they teach you. You can make systems for yourself. And then once you touch it, you see the beauty of the Creator, you become part of it. We don't charge anything. If anybody says you have to pay me to become part of the Keshe Foundation for our education side, it's 100. If you say I don't have money, I live in America, I'm poor, you still get it free. So if anybody tells you have to pay to become part of the Keshe Foundation or the workshops or whatever, it's not us, they're crooks. Keshe Foundation is free for humanity. We have a site. On our site, you have a donation. You want to donate to us, you're welcome. We have set up our own factories. We financially support ourselves, that we cannot be influenced by donation. If you put a donation, it allows us to serve more humanity. We are independent, and we are not independent out of the pocket from others. We are independent because Keshe Foundation factories, my books, and the work of our supporters pays for us to be independent, that we cannot be influenced. So look inside yourself. If you are a man of peace, join us. If we are a tool for you to get by, join us. If you see us as a tool that you can confirm you're better than the others, please go somewhere else. There are plenty of Church of Gods which don't exist. Go to a confession box. But learn one thing. Before you join us, stand, judge between yourself and your soul, that you use this technology for peace of mind, for development of the technology, for peace of your neighbor and yourself. Then you're a true Keshe Foundation supporter. And you can join us anytime. We are not a cult. We are not a religious organization. Religion doesn't exist in the space. Why should I start a new one?
This is great, and thank you very much, Keshe, for coming on the show. I
don't
thank
forget,
you.
let me stop you before you go. You'll find Keshe Foundation supporters around the world, 100 children who suffer from handicap through birth. We give life in 6 months. We come to you every week, every 2 weeks, whenever you want, 10 minutes. People report, whatever it is. We change the life of 100 people because of your program. And I think it's a gift worth it. You changed. I respect you, Kerry, for one reason. You allowed me to free 2 children from the hand of the father who was raping them every night. Alan Sterling is in prison. I'll give you that as a gift. We give you freedom to more children through your program, that their handicap is our responsibility. They are children of us, not the parents. It's the responsibility of us as a human race. Let us change humanity between you and us. You freed so many children with your program last time, a year and a half ago. I think it's just time to free them from the lack of oxygen or whatever they want to call it, that they'll become part of us as a perfect people.
Okay. All
I'll leave
right.
it to you.
Thank you. So at this time, we're going to close this down, and I want to thank you again for coming on the show. It's been very fascinating to talk with you, and I think everyone will agree that this is a very interesting conversation, and they will, be able to communicate with you, hopefully, and join you in your endeavors if they should wish to. So thank you, and perhaps we will be able to have you back in the future. I know you're going to be doing some other, public speaking in the next week or so. Isn't that right?
Yes, tomorrow in Ireland, and then others is lined up. And in a way, every Thursday morning you can go on Keshe Foundation YouTube, and we teach publicly. You can become part of the learning and then become the teachers.
Okay.
Keshe Foundation YouTube channel, Facebook is there. On the Facebook, there are 60,000 followers. On YouTube, we passed 20,000, and other organizations behind it.
Okay, very good. So thank you again, Keshe, for coming on the show, and everyone have a good night. Tomorrow night, I will have another guest, and actually it's Tony Gosling. It's tomorrow night. We'll be discussing the Bilderberg and also probably what has gone on in Manchester. So Keshe, I'm going to let you go here, and I will put the credits now on the show here. So thank you
very much indeed.
again. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Bye-bye. Okay. So what we're doing here is we're going to be running the credits. Like I said, Tony Gosling again tomorrow night will be my guest. He is a reporter who used to work for the BBC, and now he is reporting on Bilderberg, and there's going to be a Bilderberg event coming up very shortly. So thanks for watching, and have a great night. Bye-bye.